Good evening and welcome to the news cycle on Global TV in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Judith Peters. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has eloquized the first female professor of Yoruba studies in the world, Professor Omotayo Olutoye, for an important contribution to the Yoruba language, culture and tradition, saying our works and seminary interventions helped in deepening the knowledge and understanding of the Yoruba language. This was contained in a statement signed by Dele Alake, the Special Advisor to the President on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy. Professor Olutoye died recently at 87. She was the wife of Major General Olufemi Olutoye, retired, the Alani of Idoani in Ondo State, and mother of renowned surgeon and pediatrician Professor Olu Rotimi Olutoye. She was also the Yeyeluwa of Idoani in Ose local government area of the state. A civil society national roundtable has called on the National Assembly to amend the Electoral Act 2022 to enable the deployment of technology in the results collation and announcement processes. The National Roundtable, which had in attendance chairmen of political parties, some governorship, senatorial, House of Representatives, and House of Assembly candidates from various political parties, commends the introduction of the technology in the accreditation and transmission of results in 2023 general election.
Society situation room for being narrow and not representative of what actually happened at
of security personnel aiding the rigging of election, and calls on the National Assembly to amend the Electoral Act to include deployment of technology in the collation and announcement processes of our elections.
That are managing the election by first and foremost ensuring that the number of vehicles that were meant to deploy to make sure that materials are taken from different communities, different parties were not taken down on time. We also
on the 10th Assembly to take as priority the passage of the Electoral Offences Commission Bill. That INEC as constituted now should not be saddled with the responsibility of prosecuting electoral offenders when we have had recommendations, that there should be an independent body that is taking care of electoral offenders.
The roundtable further called on the newly appointed security chiefs in the country to give the INEC leadership full support to ensure the November governorship election in Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa states are free, fair, and credible. The roundtable observed that the diversity of political parties in the National Assembly was clear evidence that the election was free, fair, and credible, noting that minority parties formed a majority of members of the House of Representatives.
The roundtable therefore calls for the support of all stakeholders, particularly the new security chiefs, to the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission for the upcoming November governorship election coming up in Imo State, Kogi, and Bayelsa, so that the performance at the general election will be surpassed.
Of the security that has to accompany those materials from one to the other. In most cases, we find out that security starts their mind fast before exporting this. So, logistics challenges will move as a nation and address those logistics challenges because it affects the punctuality index of the election.
Finally, I want to say that the 2023 election came up with very wonderful wins that we must build on going into the election for Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo State, that we must strengthen and then work on improving the other areas that we have lapses.
The roundtable put together by the Civil Society Organization Central Coordinating Council also passed a vote of confidence on the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, following their comprehensive review of the 2023 general election, while commending candidates who lost and have approached the tribunal using certified true copies of documents and digital records provided.
Leadership candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, in the last gubernatorial election in Adamawa State, Senator Aishat Dahiru Binani, has accused the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, of frustrating a petition against the declaration of Adamu Fintri of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. As winner of the poll, Binani alleged that the electoral body in utter display of bias and disregard to order of court is presently making desperate efforts to arrest and detain the suspended resident electoral commissioner, Barrister Hudu Yunusa Ari, as a ploy to prevent him from testifying for hours at the ongoing Adamawa State Governorship Electoral Petition Tribunal. Sandra Akwa has the details.
Addressing a press conference in Abuja, Alhaji Mustafa Umar Madawaki appealed to well-meaning Nigerians to call INEC to order to allow the APC candidate reclaim her mandate obtained from the poll. The returning officer explained that the fact that INEC accepted the list and used it was a clear evidence and proof that it was biased in favor of the People's Democratic Party, PDP.
Before we address the ongoing attempts of INEC in cohorts with the governor of Adamawa State to frustrate the efforts of Senator Aisha Dahiru Binani to reclaim her mandate at the Adamawa State Governorship Election Tribunal, let us go back to 2019 to remind ourselves of the high-wired intrigues within the APC to scuttle the popular wishes of the people of Adamawa State and impose unpopular candidates on the people.
Madawaki would describe Senator Binani as a victim of gender discrimination in her governorship ambition, says embassies and diplomatic missions would be carried along in the battle to regain the alleged stolen mandate of the governorship candidate. Sandra Akpa for Global TV.
The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, during a meeting at the National Assembly complex with the National Association of Resident Doctors in Abuja on Monday, pleaded with the resident doctors over their plan to go on a nationwide strike. In May, the resident doctors embarked on a 5-day warning strike due to the federal government's refusal to meet the association's demands. NARD also issued a 2-week ultimatum in July to the government for the implementation of all its demands. A statement by Atiku's media office says police arrest 4 suspected Boko Haram members. According to the media, the suspects were planning to attack the People's Democratic Party PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar in Yola's Adamawa State. The suspect was among 3 others apprehended in Atiku's residence in Yola and was handed over to the police. The suspect, identified as Jubrila Mohammed, a 29-year-old and native of Damboa in Borno State. Mohammed said he and others planned on attacking organizations associated with Atiku and some other sensitive locations in Yola. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo on Monday decried Nigerians' inability to live up to expectations since it got independence about 63 years ago, stressing that the country had not only disappointed itself but also Africa and the world. Obasanjo disclosed this while delivering the keynote address at a public presentation of the book titled Reclaiming the Jewel of Africa, written by former Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, who also served as Minister of Finance, Olusegun Aganga. The book was unveiled by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu through his special advisor on monetary policy, Oluwale Edun. The event, which was held in Abuja, witnessed a large turnout of past and current senior government officials as former President Goodluck Jonathan and Obasanjo spoke virtually. The Chief of Army Staff, Major General Taoreed Lagbaja, has flagged off the ongoing operations to quell the unfortunate herders/farmers clashes in Mago local government area of Plateau State. The operation, which was launched to mitigate the crisis in Mago, has progressively tackled the deteriorating security situation in the local government, restoring relative peace in the area. Kike Lomo Okere has the details.
Output orders, march!
Addressing the troops during the flag-off, the Chief of Army Staff charged the troops to stamp out every form of security threat in the locality and in Plateau State in general. He urged them to sustain swift and timely response to distress calls, adding that they should also make it a point of duty to feed back to the community concerned, as this will help to build people's confidence in the ongoing operations.
Note that you must work and you must work effectively. We must see the result in Plateau. This violence must not resurge. You must stamp it and stamp it out completely once and for all. Is that clear? Yes, sir. Are you ready?
He further assured the troops that topmost in his philosophy of command is the provision of sound administration, which places premium on the welfare and well-being of personnel.
Good, you have pledged your readiness. I expect this in the actions you will take in the field. I wish you the very best. My lines are open. If you have any challenge, any questions, please just send in a message. We will respond accordingly. So, all the very best.
Kike Lomo Okere, Global Television News, Abuja.
The Nigeria Insurers Association has said it is planning an accident insurance cover for Nigerians in transit in partnership with the federal government. The Director General, NIA, Mrs. Yetunde Ilori, disclosed this in the association's 2022 annual report. She said the Nigeria Insurers Association and Global Site Services are working with the Nigeria government through the Federal Road Safety Corps on group personal accidents for all procedures in transit. The chairman, NIA, Mr. Shegun Omoseyin, during the association 52nd annual general meeting in Lagos, said despite the economic downturn being experienced in the country, the Nigeria insurance industry continued to take its pride of place in the economic space. Notwithstanding the challenges, they said insurance companies continue to discharge their obligations as financial intermediaries and restorers of business in line with their mandate in 2022. He said the volume of business written by member companies grew to about 6.2 billion naira, which was estimated that the president is not a magician. According to him, the ruling All Progressive Congress APC is still on track with its campaign promises, saying there was never a time it promised a 24-hour solution to Nigerians' problems. A former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, has assured that the new Chief of Army Staff, Taoreed Lagbaja, will wipe out terrorism and banditry in Nigeria. El-Rufai, who stated this in a Twitter post on Saturday, said Boko Haram terrorists, bandits, members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, and other criminal bodies are afraid of Lagbaja. The former FCT minister noted that the Chief of Army Staff has a history of leading from the front, citing an instance of how he had personally led troops to confront bandits in Kaduna State. A feat is said the army chief had also replicated in the northeast and southeast. He noted that Lagbaja is the best choice as Chief of Army Staff. And this on the news cycle on Global TV, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I would like to remind you that we're on StarTimes channel 276 and urge you to follow us across our social media platforms at Global TV NG. Stay tuned for the rest of the news. Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, it's still the Global TV news cycle. The federal government, through the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, has issued a cease and desist order to point of sales operators from conduct that constitutes an infringement of the law. This follows the move by POS operators under the umbrella of the Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents in Nigeria to fix a new prices for POS transaction. The new pricing model began on July 17, 2023. The Commission, in a statement signed by its Executive Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, Babatunde Irukera, on Monday said POS operators that are found in violation of the order will pay 10 million naira for corporate entities and 1 million naira, or a prison sentence of up to 3 months for individuals. There were strong indications on Thursday that Governor Abdulrahman Abdulrazak of Kwara State will sack the State Auditor General Adeyeye O. Samuel for alleged misconduct. Daily Post reports that Governor Abdulrazak, in a letter to the State House of Assembly on Thursday, requesting the removal of Adeyeye addressed to the Speaker of the Legislative Arm, said the embattled Auditor General was found culpable of misleading the government and the general public in the later titled Removal of Mr. Adeyeye O. Samuel as Auditor General of Kwara State. Abdulrazak noted that Adeyeye claimed that he had not been able to cash back the allocation due to his office, before later confirming that he had assessed 30% of the allocation as at June 2021. Governor Abdulrazak said, acting on Section 127 of the 1999 Constitution as a public officer, Adeyemi Adeyeye be removed as the Auditor General of Kwara State. In a bid to ensure that initiatives of the Reverse Capital Market Master Plan 2015 to 2025, in which the blueprint for enhancing the opportunities for economic growth and development in the country are compulsively implemented. The Security and Exchange Commission, SEC, is set to hold a hybrid workshop on ESG to sensitize market stakeholders on the concept of sustainability, according to the SEC. The objective of the workshop is to drive sustainable finance instrument insurance, create awareness on climate change, mitigation, and adaptation, and connect projects that address climate risks with potential investors, advocate for policy insensitive and improved access to funding for climate-smart initiatives. The Commission further stated that the Nigeria capital market, as an integral part of the financial system, is assiduously working to address society needs and concerns by undertaking a transformation driven by initiative of the particular Capital Market Master Plan to educate investors and different approaches to sustainability investment and equally enhance confidence and participation in the market. And now on the foreign scene, Israeli MPs have passed into law a highly controversial bill. Despite mass protests, which aim to thwart it, the law removes the power of Supreme Court to overrule government action and considers unreasonable. It is the first to be approved in a series of bitterly contested reforms aimed at curbing the power of courts. The planned reforms have triggered some of the biggest protests in Israel's history, with opponents warning the imperial Israel as a democracy. The government argues that the measures are necessary to correct an imbalance in power, which has seen the courts increasingly intervene in political decisions in recent decades. The vote brings to a head month of turmoil, with Israel's president warning political leaders on Monday that the country was in a state of national emergency. On Monday morning, protesters blocking a boulevard outside the Knesset were sprayed with water cannon and pulled off the road by police armed. A cacophony of noise from drums, whistles, and air horns. One protester was hurt, local media say, and 6 were arrested, police said. Other protesters surrounded a police van shouting shame at the officer. And now on entertainment news, Chunk Annabelle standing by.
Famous singer and record label boss David Adeleke aka Davido has finally deleted a short clip from the controversial video of his signee Lagos Olori's new single Jayelo, which he shared on his Twitter. The clip, which captured people praying and dancing in front of a mosque, attracted wide criticism, with many calling for the singer to delete the video and tender an apology to Muslims for disrespecting Islam. After initially ignoring the criticisms, Davido finally lifted the offensive video from his page on Sunday. However, the singer is yet to apologize to Muslims as of the time of filing this report. Davido has pledged $10,000 to an Eco Hotel and suit worker Ngozi Mary, who returned a misplaced $70,000 to a customer in Lagos. In a post via his verified Twitter handle on Sunday, the Afrobeat superstar wrote, "Find her for me, I donate $10,000. Mary Ngozi has been praised by many Nigerians on social media for returning the money. American actor and singer Jamie Foxx had broken silence on his undisclosed ailments, taking to his Instagram to share an update on his health after his hospitalization. This is the first time the actor is speaking on the hospitalization since it occurred in April 2022. He had posted a photo to his Instagram after being discharged, and many worried fans sought for an update on his health. Following that, he posted a video to his verified Instagram page narrating the audio and expressing his gratitude to everyone for their prayers and support. Going on, he explained the reason for his silence since his discharge from the hospital. Comically, he noted that he wanted to be known for his goofy side and as well as his achievements, not his sickness, and assuring his fans that he is going to be okay. Nollywood falls to second place after a short-lived reign at the top with the release of a much-anticipated movie. Hollywood leads again in Nigerian cinema. In just its first week of theatrical release, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1 has grossed $78 million between July 14th to July 21st, 2023. Directed by Christopher McQuarrie, who co-wrote the script with Eric Jendrison and co-produced with Tom Cruise. The seventh entry into the successful franchise tells yet another story for Ethan Hunt trying to save the world as he goes up against a powerful rogue artificial intelligence known as the Entity. The thriller, which promised a lot of daring stunts from Cruise, had people expectant. The numbers show that it met expectation in just of its release. Chunk Annabelle Joseph, Global TV News.
And in the world of sport, Fidelis Yegoena has some stories for us.
I think it was 6-0. We're really happy, and yeah, we keep.
Germany's perfect opening start at the FIFA Women's World Cup remains intact as the national 11 players of Germany mourned a helpless and debuting Moroccan side 6 goals unreplied at the Melbourne Rectangular Stadium. 2 own goals from Manani Aj and Zineb Redouani following Alexandra Pop's brace and Clara Boy's goal were enough to condemn the Atlas Lionesses to a disappointing World Cup opener. Morocco had the first Arab nation to play in the Women's World Cup and at 72 in the FIFA rankings, the lowest ranked team in the competition. The Atlas Lionesses will next play South Korea on July 30th. Meanwhile, Brazil's Ari Borges put up his stellar performance in a debut match to score a hat-trick as Brazil welcomed Panama to the World Cup in a 4-0 thrashing. From the sports desk of Global Television News, Fidelis Yegoena reporting.
That's it on Global TV News Cycle. Don't forget we're on StarTimes channel 276. Also kindly follow us across social media platforms at Global TV NG. On behalf of the production team, I am Judith Peters. Thank you so very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your night.